Before starting, always make sure to disinfect and clean the area. The first test is the catalyst test. Its principle is to identify the enzyme catalase, which converts 3% hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. Label each glass slide and pour 1 drop of 1 ml of 3% hydrogen peroxide solution. Using the septic technique, get the colonies from each organism and emulsify a colony separately using an applicator stick in 1 drop of hydrogen peroxide. After that, observe for effervescence or bubble formation. See, bubble formations are observed in the Staphylococcus organism. Therefore, Staphylococcus is positive and Streptococcus is negative for catalase test. The next step is the coagulase test using the slide method. The first is to place a drop of normal saline solution as a control, then place a drop of rabbit's plasma next to the saline. Then get a colony of Streptococcus and emulsify it in each drop in the slide, always placing it first on the saline solution. Using a different applicator stick, emulsify the inoculum into the rabbit's plasma. Then, repeat the same steps for the organism Staphylococcus by always placing or emulsifying the organism in the saline first, and then emulsify the colony in the rabbit's plasma. Mix well for 5 seconds, then absorb for clumping within 10 seconds. Based on the results, clumping are seen on the Staphylococcus organism. Therefore, Staph is positive for coagulase test, while Strep is negative for coagulase test. Coagulase test tube method detects pre-coagulase, while the slide method on the previous experiment detects bound coagulase or the clumping factor. So in this test, we are going to confirm the results on the slide method because the slide method is a screening for coagulase, the presence of coagulase. So in this step, we are going to inoculate a loopful of Staphylococcus to 0.5 ml of 1:4 rabbit's plasma. Then you are going to mix the colony to the rabbit's plasma. Then put a parafilm to the tube to secure the solution. After that, incubate for 4 hours at 35 degrees Celsius. Then observe for coagulation formation. If there is no coagulation form, incubate further up to 18 hours. Here is the results after 4 hours. It was noted that there was a coagulation formation. Although it is not justified by the image, it was positive for coagulation formation in person. An additional test is the mannitol salt agar test. This is to identify whether an organism is a mannitol fermenter or not. While observing for aseptic technique, get a colony of Streptococcus and then stick the colony into the half of the MSA agar while using a continuous streak. Repeating the same steps for the Staphylococcus organism, always use aseptic technique in getting the colony and then streak the organism to the MSA agar while using a continuous streak. After that, incubate the MSA agar for 18 to 24 hours. After 18 to 24 hours of incubation, here are the results. So, half of the plate wherein the Streptococcus organism was inoculated remained pink to red with no yellow halo surrounding growth, which means it is not a mannitol fermenter. On the other hand, the Staphylococcus organism had a yellow halo surrounding its growth, which means it can grow with mannitol formation because it is able to grow in 7.5% salt, which turns the phenol red indicator into yellow. So, the novabiocin, bacitracin, and optogene distus are used for antimicrobial susceptibility testing, wherein these three are antibiotics which is used to determine what kind of species is the Staphylococcus or Streptococcus being detected. So for the novabiocin distus, we are going to detect the Staphylococcus epidermidis and Staphylococcus saprophyticus, wherein Staphylococcus epidermidis will be susceptible for novabiocin, while Staphylococcus saprophyticus will be resistant to novabiocin. For bacitracin test, we are going to detect the Streptococcus species. So if the organism will have an inhibition growth, then we can identify that the Streptococcus organism is a Streptococcus pyogenes. This is for the reason that Streptococcus pyogenes are susceptible for bacitracin because of its taxon A. On the other hand, optogene distus is used to identify Streptococcus pneumoniae because after incubation of 18 to 24 hours, Streptococcus pneumoniae will develop an inhibition growth in the optogene distus, which means the Streptococcus pneumoniae is susceptible for optogene antibiotic. This is for the reason that it is susceptible for taxon E. So to proceed with our test, we are going to prepare a broth for both organisms, which is the Streptococcus and Staphylococcus, wherein we are going to inoculate these organisms to a broth and mix it well. Then we are going to compare it with a Macfarlane standard. Then we will get a cotton swab to get a colony from the broth. Then don't forget to tip off the swab on the sides of the test tube to avoid excess. Then using a overlapping streak, inoculate the organism onto the half of the blood agar plate. Repeating the same steps, inoculate the organism from the broth and then streak it using an overlapping streak on the blood agar plate. After that, we can now proceed to the placing of the disc on the blood agar plate. Taking the first antibiotic, which is the novabiocin with 5 milligrams, we are going to place the novabiocin onto the area of the plate wherein the Staphylococcus organism was streaked. And then we are going to take the basic resin disc and place it on the area of the plate wherein the Streptococcus was streaked. After that, we can now proceed to placing the off-the-chin test to the area of the plate wherein the Streptococcus was streaked. After that, we can incubate the blood agar plate for 18 to 24 hours. After incubation, it was noted that the novobiocin disc test developed an inhibition growth of 20 millimeters. Therefore, we can conclude that the Staphylococcus organism that we are identifying is a Staphylococcus aureus. This is for the reason that it was positive for coagulase tube method and it is susceptible for novobiocin. On the other hand, it was noted that there were no inhibition growth for basic resin and off-the-chin. Therefore, we can eliminate the idea that this Streptococcus species are Streptococcus pneumoniae or Streptococcus pyogenes. So to further identify which Streptococcus organism is being tested, we could test it for more additional tests such as the CAMP test, EYR test, and other streptococcal biochemical tests. And that's it. Thank you for listening and watching.